Cool. Well, Jamie, it's a big week, Christmas Derby week. Arguably, it's the biggest regular season game on both of these sides' calendars. What's been the mood like in the City dressing room?
Yeah, really good. We've had some players that have played in this game before, but also players that have played in big derbies as well overseas. So it's the fixture you look at the most in the calendar purely because it's against Victory, our biggest rival, but also it's around Christmas time. Families are on, but their breaks, and we're still plugging through. So it's summer football, and us as players are relishing the opportunity to climb up that ladder because that's what we need to do, and it's there's no better way than to play against Melbourne Victory and try and get those 3 points.
Game take on an added dimension because obviously your form this season hasn't been where you'd want to be. Victory are flying undefeated. This is an opportunity for you to get one over them, tell them that you're still the big dogs in the Melbourne yard, and this is where your push up the table begins.
Yeah, look, you can look at the ladder, and the ladder doesn't lie at some points, and but it's only 8 games or so, and I remember there was times where we were well clear at top of the league and we would lose derbies. So it's all about moments in games and who takes their chances, who concedes the least and makes the most of the opposition's mistakes. So it's going to be a game full of passion. We've seen that in many derbies we've played in, and we just hope it's an exciting atmosphere for the crowd, and it's a double header as well, and we want as many people in the grandstands as possible because there's not too many bigger fixtures than this in our Australian game.
They still don't have a one in the loss column yet. What would it mean to send them into Christmas with that first loss of the season in a derby, and would it mean that a little bit more than just a regular win?
Yeah, it would because it's a derby, but at the same time it would be after round 9, and we've still got to play them probably 2 more times, and we can't focus too much on just the derbies, so to speak. But yeah, any game you play against Melbourne Victory, you do want to have one over them, and we know that they're in some cracking form, a very hard team to stop, and we have to be on our game. And like Joey said, we haven't been as consistent as we'd like, and me being at this club for 5 years, I'm starting to find a little bit of position where we haven't been so consistent, and that's frustrating on my end from an individual point of view with the goal side of it and the wins, but we'll turn it around, and once we do, we get our bodies back. So unfortunate with Lex going down again. He's such an important player for us, and I'm sure we'll get him back in January.
Just on an individual point of view, we've been told that you've missed out the selection for the Socceroos squad.
Yep.
Have you spoken to them?
Yeah, I'm not going.
Do you think your form and experience warranted being kicked?
Look, I'm a player, I'm a realist. I understand. I've had some niggling things bothering me at the moment. They still are. But my last game for the national team was a hat trick. But I know my position under Arnie, and it's not a starter, and I have to accept that. So it just means that January I'll be here and playing for Melbourne City and trying to climb up the ladder.
And how is the ankle?
The what? Sorry?
How's the ankle?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's going to take a bit of time. I think I won't be great until maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but I can still perform. I can still go out there. I can still lace up the boots, and that's the most important thing, that my teammates can see that I'm pushing through, and that's something that I always try and pride myself on. Is come game day, I'm always there. I'm always trying to perform and put my body on the line for the group, and that's all I can say as the leader of the club.
Was that part of the reason? Was that some of the reasoning they gave you as to why you wanted to leave?
Yeah, possibly. It's a decision that I've had to take. Not an easy one, but when he does explain his reasons, then I don't think I'm a guaranteed selection in that Socceroos squad anyway. And you saw recently Mas Luongo retired, and who knows in the next couple of months, maybe even discussions for myself. I don't really know, but yeah, I'm not really too focused on that. I'm not going to the Asian Cup, and we can just leave it at that.
You had a toe injury last season, Jamie, which you sort of similar had to play through. It wasn't going to get worse if you played through it, but
Yeah.
it was still painful. Is this ankle injury, is the one that if you did maybe take 1 or 2 weeks off, it would heal quicker, or is it just a case of you legit just have to push through it?
Yeah, last year was a broken toe and just had injections for 4 weeks, and was playing with a bit of pain, but obviously the injections did help, and I got through, and it was a little bit easier to mask when you score a couple of goals still with the injection. So if goals were going in, I wouldn't be talking about the ankle. So yeah, look, it's a case of, I know if I took 2 weeks off that potentially I might feel a lot better, but again, I look across the group, and our depth at the moment has been a little bit hit with Andy out and Lex out in the front third. It'll be a bit thin, and if the coach can see me lace up boots and know that I can go out there and perform to the best that I can, physically, and I know I can do that. And I'm willing to go through a bit of pain for the boys and for the club.
Jamie, you spoke about consistency. Home form this year hasn't been like it was last season, where you guys wouldn't lose at home, but this year only one win at home. Has that been something Aurelio and you guys have spoken about heading into this one?
Yeah, we aren't happy. It's simple as that. You know, we have had some great results away from home. Unfortunately, the Champions League, we had some great results away in the Champions League, and you know, we let ourselves down by not going through of the finer details in, you know, last 5-10 minutes of games that we've kind of conceded goals and sloppy goals that it's done now. We're obviously out of that, but we do want to get our home form better, and we do have a couple games coming up in Melbourne, obviously this Saturday and a couple others coming up. So we need to rectify that, and we know that a couple wins does prop you up that ladder. That's how close things are, and we know that you know, we build ourselves in the last couple of years that I've been here. Our home form's been pretty strong, and we want that to continue.
You spoke about soberness. Does that just come down to a bit of cohesion? I mean, this is basically still a brand new squad. You're still playing together. Yes, you've played a bunch of games now with Champions League and Australian Cup. You know, it just comes with time.
Yeah, cohesion. You know, you could put it down to a little bit of tiredness, concentration. You know, these things that other than the two other clubs that have done the Asian games, it is difficult. You know, we're travelling a long way, but that's done now, and now we can't even think about that. It's long gone, and we now have to focus on games Saturday to Saturday and making sure all our boys are fit and raring to go. And if you can't get up for this game, then you might as well pack your bags and head home. So we're looking forward to it. I heard it's going to be a 25,000 plus crowd, which is amazing for our game. I'm a Melbourne boy, so nothing makes me feel more prouder than to know that both sets of fans will come and make it a safe environment, I hope, and we can really show what football's about in this state.
Jamie, that 25,000, it's going to be a bumper occasion, but we have heard your fans have apparently been denied the right to bring a TIFO, saying we are Melbourne. They've been barred that by the APL. I think meetings are currently underway around whether that decision's going to be reversed. I mean, would you like, you know, the APL, would you encourage the APL to let your fans bring a TIFO that says we are Melbourne?
Yeah, I possibly off the top of my head, I think I've seen something along those lines at our home games before. So, yeah, but you're right. There is discussions happening right now, and I think you know, the decision will be made imminently, and it's down to our fans. Whatever the decision is, just please turn up. We're going to need you. It is our home game, and you know, whether there is a TIFO or not, their support is so important to us and myself especially, and we need them to get them over the line, and we can't let a little decision affect them, because they're so big for our club, and they're really going to be a deciding factor come Saturday night.
And you lampshaded safety and the like. This is the 1-year anniversary of the Christmas derby pitch invasion. You obviously had a teammate, Tom Glover, that was concussed and required stitches from that night. It was a terrible night for all involved. I mean, it's an elephant in the room. We can't ignore that it didn't happen. But internally, have you talked about it? Has it come up in conversation? I mean, there's not a lot of boys in the squad that were there last season. You've had so much turnover, but you were one of them. Jamal on the bench and Curtis and the like. How do you approach it?
Yeah, you're right, Joey. I was on the pitch that night, and it wasn't great, but we've all moved on. I think both sets of clubs have moved on and really want to focus on having the fans that want to be there and support both teams that are on the pitch, and make it a safe environment for families also, and I believe they will. I think we are in a good place here in Melbourne. It's going to be a safe environment for all our fans of both sets of teams to come out, and but also our new players didn't really know about it, didn't hear about it, so it's kind of a new group other than a few of us that have been a part of it and seen it. But yeah, like we said, once that happened, we wanted to move on, because it wasn't something that you want to see in our game, and I'm sure Melbourne Victory players and staff and fans think the same way. We're no different, so we just want a clean game. We'll do the battle on the pitch as players, and leave that to us to entertain, and we look forward to playing 90 minutes of good football.